You know, I've spent the better part of the decade thinking Capcom just doesn't care about Mega Man anymore. When a company goes 8 years with nothing but false starts and a game by a former staff member set up to be a fresh new take on the formula, only for it to stink like spoiled milk, people start to think they've given up. Instead, it just looks like all it takes is some new blood at the helm and a neat new mechanic or two to make a great sequel like Mega Man 11. It's still 15 minutes into the future, and a new series of autonomous helper robots is receiving a routine checkup with Dr. Light. Of course, this isn't Robot Mechanic Simulator 20XX, and old Dr. Wily is here to provide the conflict necessary for Rock to armor up. A particularly bad dream has reminded him of some important research from his youth, and he's decided this new old tech is just what's needed to prove to Light that he's the better scientist. He steals the new bots and equips each with a component of his double gear system, but Rock isn't having this, so after a few days in a double gear upgrade of his own, he's ready to take on his reprogrammed brothers and smack some sense into Wily. This is a typical classic Mega Man story, meaning it's enough to get you interested in controlling a short blue robot and sparse enough to be out of the way if you simply don't care about it. It also provides new insight into the conflict between the series' greatest minds. I know I've always personally thought Light probably instigated their falling out sometime in the past, but this game all but confirms that in the intro. Everyone's characterization is exactly as you'd expect it, so don't expect Roll to finally go out and beat ass or anything crazy like that. I personally wish more narrative was present though. I mean, Mega Man Powered Up is the king of this for the classic series, and that game came out over a decade ago. Because there isn't a whole lot of story though, there's nothing left to critique here, but what's more important is how it plays anyway. And since this is classic Mega Man, I don't have to do much explaining, but I will for the courtesy of anyone unaware. Mega Man 11 is a 2.5D side-scrolling action platformer where you
jump, slide,
and run through levels in whatever order you choose, all while avoiding one-hit kill traps and spikes, destroying guard robots using your solar-powered Mega Buster. Every level has a gimmick tied to its Robot Master skill set. For example, Blast Man's area is laced with explosives in a manner similar to Grenade Man's from Mega Man 8, and Impact Man's level requires you to ride platforms to progress, much like Guts Man's stage. Typical of the series, it'll take a bit of time to memorize the layout of each level, so just understand you're gonna die a few times before it's all over. Now though, in case the game feels too easy or hard, you have different difficulties at your disposal, but you will have to restart from scratch as they can only be selected from the main menu, which is a bit counterintuitive. Bolts collected from random enemies can be used to create new items at Dr. Light's lab, like an energy balancer that recharges the lowest weapon tank when an energy capsule is collected, or spiked boots that prevent you from sliding as much when on ice. You can also stock up on lives and weapon tanks, a mystery tank that tells you exactly what the mystery is. What a dumb name for an item. You can manually call Eddie to toss you some goodies, Beat can pull your butt out of a hole if you miss a jump, and there's even an item that halves the damage you take until the end of a level you use it on, as long as you don't die. Seriously, if you just want a casual run in this game, your robot family's got your back. Making the game even easier is the suite of powers you acquire from the robot masters you defeat. Not only are they particularly effective against specific other bosses, but the levels and enemy placement have been designed around their usage, with Block Dropper having decent damage and range to clear out enemies placed above you, Pile Driver acting as an attack dash, and Acid Barrier protecting your hide from projectiles when there isn't a whole lot of room to move. Just to name a few. It's what you expect from Mega Man gameplay, and everything's running like a well-oiled, spike-laden machine, with the biggest new addition being the double gear system. Speed gear slows everything around you down, giving you the edge you need to dodge obstacles and enemy shots and fire plenty of your own, while power gear beefs up Rock's attack power and modifies how your special attacks work. You can even combine them at low energy for extra destructive power, but experienced players won't really find this necessary. The gears do put a strain on Mega Man's system, represented by a cooldown after using them, and extended use can cause the gears to overheat, making that cooldown painfully long. Short bursts are the way to go when running through everything. And that includes extra modes like Time Attack, Jump Saver, Buster Breakdown, and others. You'll want to use everything at your disposal to attain a high ranking on the leaderboards. And even if you're like me and don't care about that sort of thing, at least in this game, I'm typically a score hog. There's always the playground where you can practice against bosses and get your strategies down. One thing's for sure, the controls definitely won't be in your way, as they are simply perfect, even with the inherent lag involved when playing on modern TVs. Every mistake you make is your own, and the more effort you put into the game to improve, the better you'll get. Speaking of effort, plenty was placed into making for a nice presentation because this game looks like Rockman Official Complete Works come to life, looking even better than Megaman Powered Up did back in 2006 for obvious reasons. It's running on Capcom's empty framework engine, so they've got the usage of that thing down, and if there's any aliasing present, I can't really tell. Then again, I am playing the PC version, which runs at whatever resolution you can throw at it, at 60 frames per second no less. Loading times are practically non-existent, being well disguised behind each Robot Master intro. Voices are top-notch, whichever language you choose, and music is fine, though I wouldn't consider it to be one of the best soundtracks, all things considered. Still, it's all poppy and positive, with standouts being Blastman's and Fuseman's themes. I'm really hoping a DLC comes down the line for 8-bit chiptune variants though, because what the online community has created so far has been amazing. If there's any negative I have, it's the continued usage of Mega as Mega Man's given name, which is really awkward given the theme naming of Light's 3 robot siblings, but that's really all I've got. Say what you want about old school gameplay, Mega Man 11 is a great new entry in a franchise that's been going strong for 3 decades, continuing an excellent string of challenging classic side-scrolling gameplay, while injecting new ideas and mechanics to make it a great entry point for younger players with no history with the series. It looks and plays great, the Robot Master levels are inventive spins on old tropes, and there's enough extra content to keep those wanting to master everything satisfied. To some, it may be bare bones, but it's definitely a stepping stone towards something more, and for $30 on all the major platforms today, even if it doesn't shift the series into a new gear, it certainly does rock.